I'm Dr. Brian Sather, and I've got a sport ethics topic for you today. It's a current topic. I read an article in New York Times by Streeter, and the premise of the article was that the New York Times or the NHL is selling out by advertising violence. So with the COVID pandemic and all the sports coming back at once, NHL, I guess, is struggling for viewers. So they one of their ads basically highlighted fighting. So this is something the NHL has had for a long time. Part of its culture is fights, and unlike like UFC and some other sports, the intent of the game is not to hurt each other, really. And the sport has actually cleaned up quite a bit. It used to be a lot more aggressive, where people were holding and grabbing, checking, a lot more of that, and they cleaned it up to be more of a follow the European style of hockey, which was a lot cleaner. So in this article, Streeter was saying, instead of showing an awesome pass, awesome goal, they were just highlighting most of the ad, the violent nature. So they were selling the violence. And from a principle standpoint, if it is a universal principle to do no harm, then why would we be, is it immoral to be highlighting that aspect of the sport? Playing around on the rocks here, my trials bike. So is violence immoral? And if so, is this violence in sport immoral? And is it immoral to exploit that? Like, why not just highlight the love of the game itself, the great athletic feats on the ice? Instead, you're showing basically a UFC. Oh yeah, basically a UFC event instead of actual hockey. So what do you think about that? I know they, to give some other context, the NFL has really downplayed the violence with the hits. They've cut down a lot on how you can hit a person. So is this kind of a backward step by the NHL to be going back to, oh, look at that. Is it a backward step by the NHL to be highlighting its history of violence? And even for that matter, a sport like that, why should they allow fights to go on? I mean, the referees just step back and let them fight once they throw the gloves off. I mean, is that a fair thing? As long as they're not wearing gloves. Professional boxing actually makes you wear gloves. Not only that, Olympic boxing, to make it safer, does bigger gloves. So why are we highlighting the violence in a sport like this, where you throw off the gloves and you hit each other? A lot of hockey players have no teeth, facial lacerations. Like, these are harmful things, right? Why would we do that? Youth hockey, they have face masks on. I believe it's required in all collegiate hockey too, to wear a face mask. So the sport itself doesn't really require that. So is it immoral for them to be emphasizing that violent act there? So that question I'd pose, and then you know, just the general question, is violence acceptable in a sport, period? GoPro, stop recording.